Proctor matchup. And not surprisingly at all, the atmosphere is great, just as it will be in Chapel Hill a month from now. Roger Ayers, Bird Smith, A.J. Desai are the officials, and the Tar Heels with the opening tip.
Derek Lively the second, starting out on Armando Bacot, and you know that Carolina wants to play inside out early.
Carolina coming off a 1-point loss on Wednesday against Pitt. Duke coming off a 2-point win Tuesday over Wake. Davis with a miss, and the long rebound out to Roach. Boy, Roach aggressively puts it up, comes up empty, and it's out of bounds to Carolina. As tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Degree. And again, a very experienced Carolina team. Davis, Love, Leaky Black, Armando Bacot, all with a ton of experience in this rivalry. And Pete Nance, a grad transfer from Northwestern. Of course, a much younger Duke team with all kinds of freshmen on the floor, along with Jeremy Roach.
One-on-one in the post now. Here comes the double to try to get the ball out of the hands of Bacot.
Caleb Love has played 2 very good games in this building. 25 as a freshman, 22 as a sophomore, and Carolina won them both. They have won the last 2 times they've come to Cameron.
And remember, he had 28 in that huge game in the Final Four and was unstoppable in the second half.
A little strong for Tyrese Proctor, kicked back out by Mark Mitchell.
Duke wants to move the ball from side to side, get some ball reversals, and then attack.
Proctor attacks. It rolls off the back of the iron to Bacot. Already North Carolina's all-time leading rebounder, still with a bunch of games to go. R.J. Davis off a screen. Over Derek Lively. Lively got a piece, but Bacot there to clean it up.
Boy, what a smart play by R.J. Davis to knock the ball. After it got blocked, he had the presence of mind to knock the ball to Bacot. And R.J. Davis has been struggling his last 2. 1 of 10 from three-point range, averaging about 8.5 points per game in his last 2.
First took that elbow to the eye in the Syracuse game a week and a half ago. Missed a few days of practice. Roach uses the screen, and it won't go down off the window, and another rebound.
And Bacot is a one-man gang on the defensive boards.
Good matchup, Love and the freshman Tyrese Proctor. Love again. Now 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. The rebound to Roach.
Caleb Love settled right there. He needs to get to the free throw line more. With his athleticism, he is a downhill driver, but he's not shooting near as many free throws this year as he did last year. Carolina going under those screens.
Roach with the elbow jumper and Duke on the board.
And that's going to be available when North Carolina's in drop coverage on ball screens. That mid-range jump shot, especially for Jeremy Roach, is going to be a good shot.
Davis frees himself up, and he knocks it down. As you mentioned, struggled his last time out, just 3 for 15 against Pitt. Hubert Davis hoping that a few more days of practice, shake the rust off, getting a little further away from the eye injury, and that R.J. Davis will be back to his normal self here tonight.
Well, his normal self is one of the best guards in the country and one of the best free throw shooters you're going to see.
Derek Lively launches a 3 and comes up empty. A good start here for Carolina with an early 5-point lead. Bacot into the chest of Lively, who got a piece of it. Shot clock does not reset. Bacot again into the chest of Lively, and again he altered the shot.
Already the game physical inside, but Lively holding his ground. One of the best shot blockers in the country.
Proctor. Boy, and a couple of Blue Devils had a hand on it, but couldn't knock it down. Love, nice shovel pass. Bacot couldn't handle it. Roach for 3.
Bacot just couldn't grab that little pass, the drop off. But that's a good shot in transition. Years ago, you wanted to get all the way to the basket, but a pull-up 3 in transition is a great opportunity.
Good pace and a long stretch without a whistle here in this one. Steal by Proctor. Filipowski will lay it in to tie the game.
Carolina a little too casual on that dribble handoff. Tyrese Proctor, who's a very good defender. He is long-armed and athletic and really starting to come on.
Love with a crossover. Kicks it back out. Leaky Black. Pete Nance. And it'll be Carolina ball when we come back. A frenetic pace, Jay, to start this one between Carolina and Duke.
Just what we expected. A physical contest where the glass... I have not done much mascot work in my career.
Although you have been in several layers before, I believe, in your time. But he's got all kinds of different signs and sayings. And obviously, when Carolina comes to town more than any other program, they're going to hear it from the fans here at Cameron. Two unranked teams. They were both unranked in both games 2 years ago. Those two games and this game, Jay, the only 3 times in the last 60-plus seasons that both have been unranked in this game. But you know what? If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know any better walking in. This feels like every other Carolina Duke that we've always done, which means there's a lot on the line here tonight.
Already, Derek Lively II has been a presence in this game with his shot blocking. He was rolling to the rim. They just couldn't complete the pass. But with Lively in the game, Duke's field goal percentage defense at the rim is 15% better.
He has 3 blocked shots already in this game. He averages 2 a game, and that's not in a ton of minutes. His play has really picked up the last few weeks, and we'll say it for the second time tonight. R.J. Davis looks like his normal self.
Yeah, he's back. And that mid-range jump shot, because of the drop coverage that Duke plays, is going to be there all night. Unless there's an adjustment with a hard hedge or a flat hedge.
Davis averaging better than 16 points per game. One of 3 Tar Heels averaging better than 16 and 18 per game, along with Love and Bacot.
Carolina able to play with their heels on the three-point line. They're not concerned with three-point shots. They want to protect the paint.
Turnaround won't go for Kyle Filipowski, who comes in here on a tear with 5 double-doubles in his last 6 games.
There's that middle ball screen and roll.
Love into Bacot, and he got fouled.
In the middle of the floor, it is so difficult to pick up Bacot as the roll man. He sets that screen and then immediately rolls to the basket. So if Derek Lively is going to try to impact the ball at all, he goes to it and stays with it too long. And because R.J. Davis adjusted up, his man can't get in there and tag and get in front of Armando Bacot when he rolls. The middle of the floor, that middle third, is going to be where Carolina attacks with that ball screen.
Bacot having another great season, averaging almost 18 points per game, better than 11 rebounds per game. Subs for Duke, including the grad transfer Ryan Young, another Northwestern guy. So Pete Nance and a Ryan Young team 4 years at Northwestern, and now they're on opposite sides of this rivalry.
Armando Bacot spends a lot of time right here at the free throw line. He shoots about 8 free throws per game. And Carolina makes about 18 on average. So playing against North Carolina, you have to play good physical defense without fouling, or they're going to spend a lot of time at the line.
Proctor bringing it up for Duke. When Roach missed those 4 games with a toe injury, Proctor assumed more of the ball handling responsibilities, and now John Shire feels like he's got 2 equally capable quarterbacks out there on the court. Roach with a strong move, but he can't finish it. Young with the offensive rebound. And then Love is called for the travel.
Boy, Ryan Young just has a knack for offensive rebounding. He reads where the ball's coming off, and if he doesn't have an immediate stick back, he looks to try to get it back out for an open three-point shot.
Yeah, you always say about a guy like Young, he's not an above-the-rim guy, but boy, is he good below the rim. He is a terrific rebounder.
R.J. Davis staying right with Jeremy Roach. He is not going to help off.
Out of bounds, and it'll be Carolina ball, and Bacot shaking his head as if to say to Young, you can't do that to me.
And one of the things North Carolina is doing on Tyrese Proctor, they're going underneath screens. They're not as concerned about him hitting a 3. They want to make sure he stays out of the paint. A double drag up top, roll, pop.
Davis for 3. Rebound, Leaky Black. And back comes Duke. Both teams missing some opportunities around the rim. Roach, yes.
Well, Jeremy Roach has been aggressive in transition. And when Duke's been able to secure a defensive rebound, they've had a couple opportunities in transition to run. There's that zoom action, and Roach staying right with Caleb Love, taking away that handoff option.
Davis turns the corner. Bacot lays it in.
Armando Bacot so good at setting a ball screen, wing or side, and rolling right to the basket and presenting himself. You stay with the ball too long, and they just drop it off to him.
5 field goals for Carolina, Jay. R.J. Davis has scored 2 of them and assisted on the other 3. Grandison off to Young. Pretty 2-man basketball.
Boy, beautiful pass. Bacot had to step up to stop the Grandison drive, and a beautiful pocket pass to Ryan Young. That's beautiful basketball.
Getting a little physical between Nance and Filipowski. Love with a sweet bounce pass and another bucket for Bacot.
Right now, Carolina's able to attack the paint. And that's what Duke really wants to prevent. They want to protect the paint, make Carolina score over the top of them. And right now, Carolina's been able to turn corners. You turn corners, you draw help, and then play off it.
Another touch for Young, defended by Bacot.
Really good at pivoting.
Grandison for 3. Rebound Black.
And North Carolina can close out short and be a little bit late to those shots. They just want to stop drives first and foremost.
Bacot spinning on Young. Draws a crowd. Finds a wide open Nance. Young the rebound.
Not going to get a better shot. Really good pass by Armando Bacot out of the double.
Again, a long stretch without a whistle. And now as soon as we say that, we've got one. And a timeout on the floor. Carolina with a 4-point lead midway through the first half. Jay Bilas going inside the.
We call this a Diallo move right here, where Ryan just goes right at Tyrese. We get some good things that can happen, and then all the time we work on with our guards reading what the defender does. Here, Hildreth goes under, and this is an automatic shot for our guards. Anytime we shoot, we want our 3, 4s, and 5s crashing the boards.
Ryan Young gets the offensive rebound here. If he doesn't you want the immediate stick back if he has it, but if he doesn't have it, what do you want?
We want relocation 3s, and for us, this has been a staple of Duke basketball for a long time. You get this offensive rebound, relocate, and me and you were talking about it, but the percentage that our players shoot off an offensive rebound seems to be a much higher percentage from a normal 3.
Thanks to Coach Scheyer, that's the film room.
Like the film room, you did this with Rick Barnes in Knoxville a couple of weeks ago. For Duke or for any team for that matter, Jay, how much of the offense are set plays, and then how much are, hey, read and react to what you're seeing and go make a play?
A little bit of both. Duke has a number of set plays on its menu. They like to get down in transition and just flow into offense, but they've got a number of sets that they run and then counters. Great shot fake by Filipowski. And that allowed him to get right into the paint to Jalen Washington, who made a great move on the other end. It's nice to see Washington back. When Armando Bacot got hurt against Virginia, went out of the game, Washington came in, and that shot fake just opened up the lane. But Washington came in, and he wound up having 13 points and 6 rebounds, was taking off, and then he injured his ankle again against Boston College. But he is a special talent, and you saw when he caught the ball on the other end, he just gives a little inside pivot to face up, and he can make that 15-foot jumper. And I think he's got the ability, maybe not this game tonight, but he's going to be able to stretch it out to 3. Yep. Jalen Washington is a special talent, and he's going to be a ridiculously good player.
Young out, Lively back in, Filipowski at the line. He leads the team in scoring, rebounding, and steals. The 7-time ACC Rookie of the Week so far this season, and the only freshman in the country averaging better than 15 and 9 on the season.
And you really have to sit on his right hand. He is a right driver first. He can go left, but you'd rather have him go left than right.
Sneaky pass from Love into Nance, and a block is called on Filipowski. His first.
Usually when Nance drives the ball, he likes to drive middle. And this time more to the baseline side, but a spin back to the middle.
Filipowski to the bench. Nance has scored 34 points in Carolina's last 2 games, and Hubert Davis has talked to him about being aggressive. And he said Nance was a little worried early about stepping on some toes, this veteran group that made it all the way to the national championship game a year ago. And Hubert keeps telling him, there are no toes. Don't worry about the toes. Go be aggressive.
Well, when he first got to North Carolina, Hubert Davis told him, hey, man, I want you to be a dude. Like, don't defer just because you haven't been there. I've been here. And when Nance is aggressive, I mean, he can shoot it. He's not quite the Brady Manick shooter that's really going to stretch the floor and make 7 threes in a game like Manick could in any given game. And he's not the rebounder that Manick was, but he's a good player.
Carolina fans also happy to see Puff Johnson back in the game. That'll be a goaltending call on Lively. Johnson missing the last 3 with a knee injury. Count that basket for R.J. Davis, who's having himself a good first half.
You can really tell how Carolina has been resolute to drive the ball. You know, they're putting Duke in positions where they're having to help and rotate, and Carolina can play out of it rather than settling for jump shots. And I think this is when Carolina looks the best, is when they're aggressive getting into the paint.
Proctor's soft touch on the floater to get Duke back within 5.
Tyrese Proctor has really changed this Duke team, taking over as the primary point guard. Last 5 games, he's averaging 12 points and 4 assists. He's an excellent defender. And he leads Duke in assists, and he's going to be a really good player.
Boy, another good pass from Love, but another rejection for Lively, and Proctor down with the board.
Duke has numbers.
Grandison in transition. Count the basket and a foul.
When Duke is able to grab a defensive rebound, they have gotten outlet passes, and they are running. Thus far, the transition advantage has gone Duke's way. An excellent pass ahead to Jacob Grandison. R.J. Davis not in position to take the charge, just got clipped on the side, and Grandison able to finish the play while he's on his back.
And Jay, that's a big call. That is number 2 on R.J. Davis with 8:45 to go in the half. He sits. Freshman Seth Trimble is into the game for the first time now for the Heels.
Seth Trimble is a great driver, very athletic, and an outstanding on-ball defender, but he does not stretch the floor. He's only made 1 3 on the season. So you're going to be able to help off of him and sag off of him.
Washington baseline on Lively. Out of bounds off Roach. So Davis has to sit. Bacot is on the bench right now. So you wonder if Love feels, hey, I got to take it upon myself. Well, 2 moments that are certainly making Carolina fans smile right now as we take a look at tonight's Sonic blockbuster. In the last 100 games, they're 50-50. In the last 111, Carolina is up by 1, and that won the win of the national semifinal last night when that guy, Caleb Love, had 28, and once again, Jay, the 3rd time he's come into this building in his career, and the 3rd time he is playing well.
Well, and he's doing it a little bit differently in this game from some games he's played recently. Gets his shoulders and his torso past the defender, Jalen Blakes, took the bump. And how much better is Caleb Love when he's aggressive getting into the paint? He's such a strong, athletic guard. And he should be making a living at the free throw line.
5 career games against the Blue Devils, better than 20 points per game for Love coming into this one.
Good defensive matchup here with Seth Trimble guarding Jeremy Roach. He seems like Seth Trimble was born in a stance. So explosive and such a good on-ball defender.
And he may get some good minutes here with R.J. Davis on the bench with 2. Roach tries it again. Kicks to Grandison in the corner. Got to get a shot off. And a shot clock violation. It gives it back to Carolina.
Give credit there to the freshman Seth Trimble. You know, we talked, he's not the offensive player yet that he can be. But defensively, you don't see many freshmen guard the ball like Seth Trimble.
And he'll bring it up to take Love off the ball, at least for now. Bacot has returned for the Heels. Filipowski has returned for the Blue Devils. Another ball screen for Love, and another good look. Puff Johnson for 3.
Boy, what a difference maker Puff Johnson can be, because he can stretch the floor. He missed his last 3 games with a knee. He had 12 points against Louisville, 11 points against Notre Dame. He was a huge lift to North Carolina in the national championship game against Kansas. This gives them another offensive threat on the floor that you have to guard on the perimeter.
Blake's being hounded by Love. Filipowski will answer with a three of his own.
Jalen Washington not used to guarding that far out on the floor, and it's almost like Filipowski either knew it or could feel it. Little horns action out top for North Carolina. Duke going under on Seth Trimble. They're going to invite him to shoot that three.
Washington with a corner three. Mitchell the save, and he finds Blake. Great play. Blake still playing with that Batman mask. Broke his nose in practice January the 17th.
He looks like a superhero. How much better are the masks now when you break your nose?
And Filipowski stepped out of bounds.
North Carolina getting some ball screen action, and then a great throwback on the shake action. Just terrific job and a terrific pass, and then a nice little jab step just got Jalen Washington back up a bit. And Filipowski, he can really shoot it.
Yep, Nance a little indecisive there between putting the ball down and passing it, and he ends up turning it over.
Well, I don't think he expected Jeremy Roach to be in the passing lane. He got in between the ball and Seth Trimble, and that, as much as anything, caused the walk.
Two coaches who played in this rivalry, each of them between their playing careers, being an assistant coach and now tonight, has been in more than 30 Carolina Duke games. Rebound Nance. So John Shire, Hubert Davis know all about this rivalry.
Thus far, North Carolina doing a pretty good job on the defensive glass.
And Duke, statistically the second best offensive rebounding team in the nation. They get better than 38% of their misses.
Good throwback.
Wide open three. Filipowski too strong.
That's one area Duke has not been able to consistently knock down perimeter shots this season. Boy, what a bad pass. There was nowhere for Bacot to go once he caught it.
Mitchell.
Well, he went right into the chin of Puff Johnson. He led into his chin. And just a strong drive by Mark Mitchell. Watch this here. Boom.
And Johnson got the worst of that. He's okay. Mitchell at the line for a couple, averaging about 9 points, 4 rebounds per game. Good wing defender as each coach sends in a couple of subs. And for Hubert Davis, our first look at DeMarco Dunn, a 6'5" sophomore from Tucson, Arizona.
You know, it's funny when that kind of thing happens, and who knows, they probably wouldn't have called that anything. Would have just been a basketball play. But if you tough it out and just get up, the officials don't go to the monitor. You know, if you hold your jaw, maybe you got a chance they'll take a look at it.
Yep. Carolina shooting 42%, Duke just 35%. Carolina leading by 3. They're both 7 and 4 in league play. They are tied for 6th in the ACC. But again, the top 2 teams in the league, Clemson and Virginia, in the league standings, both lost today. So whoever wins this one, just 1 game out of the loss column and a game and a half out for the league lead. Dunn kept it alive, but it bounces free to Proctor. Going all the way.
Another transition basket for Duke. When they get a defensive rebound, they have been shot out of a cannon. And Tyrese Proctor forced the Carolina defense to stop the ball. Nobody did. They were trailing him. And he winds up getting the easy transition bucket.
And that's got the building rocking again here as Duke is back within 1. Look at the difference in the fast break points. 13-0.
Well, traditionally you talk about Carolina's fast break, but Duke has been scoring most of its points in transition ahead of the Carolina defense.
Dunn into the paint. Lost it. Got it back. Bacot the rebound.
Might as well have been a pass. Bacot's such a great offensive rebounder.
Remember, no R.J. Davis still on the bench with 2. Long 3 for Love, and Duke can take the lead.
And that's the kind of shot where you say, Caleb Love, what are you thinking there? You know, he's had such success getting into the lane. He can make that shot. But at that point in the clock, it wasn't necessary.
Roach. And yet another rebound for Bacot. That'll be his 6th.
A drag screen in transition. Good throw.
The pull-up by Leaky Black is short.
And that's not the shot that Carolina wants. Leads to a run out.
Mitchell to Roach, and Duke has the lead.
North Carolina's offense has not.
It's impacted your defensive transition is compromised. Duke's doing a great job of pushing off of misses. And when Carolina gets in the lane, they're not covering the backcourt. They're getting crushed in defensive transition.
All right, see you at the half, guys.
Thank you, Holly. You saw R.J. Davis is back into the game. Jay sat for almost 5 minutes with those 2 fouls. Hubert Davis looking for a bit of a spark here towards the end of the first half.
And R.J. Davis, 3 of 6 from the field when he went out. And he is such a good ball handler, passer. Good pass by Armando Bacot.
And Black with a bucket. Bacot the assist.
And that's one of the reasons Armando Bacot needs to touch the ball more. When North Carolina plays inside out, I think their offense much more effective.
Derek Lively, by the way, with 4 blocks in the first half for Duke. Filipowski driving on Nance, and a foul.
Filipowski just went right into the chest of Pete Nance to draw that foul. And then Bacot looks middle to see if the double's coming. It wasn't. And just shot that pass right across court, right past the outstretched arms of Mark Mitchell for an easy basket for Leaky Black. Just a really good pass for Armando Bacot. But I think that's the way North Carolina needs to play. Inside out, continue to attack the paint, draw help, and then kick it out to open shooters that can knock down an open shot or shot fake and drive the closeout.
Filipowski, the freshman, one of 20 Wooden late season candidates for the Wooden Award. There are 4 in the ACC. Armando Bacot is another one. The other 2 of the ACC, Isaiah Wong from Miami, Terquavion Smith from NC State.
And Filipowski has been so consistent at a high level. His last 3, he's averaging over 21 a game, 9 rebounds, shooting 50% from the floor.
Black to the elbow. Nance kicks to Davis. And the weak side follow for Bacot for 2 more.
But that was really good offense because Carolina got it from one side of the floor to the other. Made the defense move, and that's when Armando Bacot's even more difficult to box out.
And look at the numbers, 10 and 7 already for Bacot. Filipowski getting more aggressive, but he can't finish it. Black from the corner. And it rattles out. Leaky Black started off the season shooting the 3 very well. 13 of his first 33, about 40%. 2 for his last 20. Coming in as Proctor puts Duke back on top.
Boy, Tyrese Proctor is really starting to blossom. He should still be in high school. Duke got him to come a year early out of Australia. He played at the NBA Academy. And he is a future NBA player. Good drive.
And the finish for Black just blew right by Mitchell.
Everybody was up near the free throw line. Carolina lifted up their offense, and there was no weak side help. And just a great drive by Leaky Black. You mentioned that 2 for 20. When he's that wide open in the corner's his spot. He still has to take that shot.
Proctor again. What a game he's having. But his expression never changes, Jay. He looks like the coolest cat in the building, doesn't he?
He's played a lot of high-level basketball in his young career. But he's really starting to come on. And that frees up Jeremy Roach. He doesn't have to take over ball handling responsibilities, and he can just think about scoring coming off screens.
Bacot spins on Filipowski, and it goes. 2 more for Armando Bacot.
Anytime Armando Bacot gets the ball in the left block, he's going to look to spin toward the baseline. And then he spun back, and that's a difficult shot that he made.
Bacot takes it away, and Carolina can take the lead in the final minute of the half.
But just a lazy pass. Bacot able to step in front and knock that away. Little horns action up top. They can throw back.
Dunn getting some minutes. Love's been on the bench for a few minutes for Carolina. Nance with a step back blocked by Filipowski.
He got hit going up, and the official didn't call it. Hubert Davis is incensed.
And John Shire will use a timeout to try to set up for the final shot of a very entertaining first half. Duke with a 1-point lead and the ball with 21.8 seconds to go in the first half here at Campbell. Caleb Love has returned for Carolina. R.J. Davis sits. Remember, he's got the 2 fouls, so they don't want him in here right now on defense. Boy, Proctor's had a nice half.
Duke wants to go with about 8 on the clock. That gives them an option for an offensive rebound, but not Carolina the chance to take it the other way.
Proctor to Grandison. He'll get a good look at a 3. And that'll do it in the first half here in Durham. And we have a foul called, I believe. Bert Smith has called a foul, and they're going to look and see if the foul was called.
Transition. You know, the fast break point, 16-0 in favor of Duke.
The foul is on Roach, and 0.2 of a second on the clock. And Carolina inbounds, and now it's halftime, with Duke leading by 1, 33-32. Jeremy Roach leading the way for Duke with 10. Armando Bacot 12 and 7 at the break. For go here with the start of the second half of our Sonic Blockbuster matchup. Duke here at home in the first of 2 regular season meetings between these two programs, and the Blue Devils with a 1-point lead on the Tar Heels.
This R.J. Davis-Jeremy Roach matchup is a good one at the 2-guard spot.
Proctor, another floater. This one he leaves it a little bit short.
Carolina needs to do a better job of grabbing a defensive rebound and getting out in transition. You know, Leaky Black grabbed that rebound, but it was a slow break.
Nance into Bacot. Spins around Lively. And left it just a little bit short, but Leaky Black digs it out, but it'll be a held ball. The possession arrow will keep it with the Heels. Tar Heel coach Hubert Davis had a chance to speak with Holly Rowe during halftime.
Well, Coach, how did your commitment to the glass pay off in that first half, limiting their second chance opportunities?
Well, I thought we did a really good job of boxing them out. As I told you before, you know, they're the best in the conference at getting second chance opportunities. So for us, we got to limit them to 1 shot every possession. I thought we did a good job of that in the first half, and we'll have to do that in the second half.
Fast break points. Most you've given up all year. How'd you say that to your kids?
Well, you know, they've scored half of their points off of transition, and that's off of our turnovers and bad shots. So we clean up the turnovers and the bad shots and continue to try to attack the basket. We get to the free throw line more than anybody in the conference, and we've only been to the free throw line 3 times. My hope is that'll change.
Thanks, Coach.
So, Jay, how does Carolina get to the line more in the second half?
Continue to attack the paint. In the first half, especially Caleb Love, early in the first half, they did a good job of turning the corner off ball screens and getting into the paint, drawing help, and then playing out of it. But they can't just settle for jumpers. I mean, that by Pete Nance should have been a shot fake and a drive. You know, that was a settle over a 7-footer.
Filipowski, 8 points in the first half, now into double figures.
Filipowski has got a ton of game. And when he adds in, he can play down in the post, but he can catch it a step off, face up, or he can turn around, shoot over you.
He's a freshman playing against a fifth-year senior in Pete Nance. Nance for 3. Too strong, and a foul underneath going
on Lively.
It's Lively, yep.
But Filipowski, because he can shoot it, he can catch it a couple steps off the lane. That was a good job by Pete Nance to push him off the lane. But Filipowski's got that shooting touch where that little 12-foot jumper is a really good shot for him. And Pete Nance just had his hands down, didn't discourage the shot.
Bacot a touch. And kicks it back out. Lively defending him well. Love fouled by Proctor.
Proctor just got that left elbow right into the chest of Caleb Love. And then on the ball reversal, Love looking to drive it middle. And that puts a ton of pressure on the defense. Just a simple ball reversal, gave a little fake to his left and then drove it right. And he is primarily a right driver. He can drive it either way, but he's much better driving to his right.
Davis the kick. And the corner three for Leaky Black.
That's his spot. If he's going to knock down a perimeter shot, it's going to be from the corner. But that was all because of the action in the middle of the floor that drew help.
Proctor, boy, great pace. And he lays it in. Duke back on top.
He just read the secondary defender, that being Armando Bacot. If Bacot steps up, he dishes it off. If not, he takes it all the way.
He is showing more and more of his skill set week by week. Davis into the chest of Lively. That's the 5th block of the night for Lively.
So long and athletic, can take the bump and still block the shot.
Mitchell leans in and finishes. Duke by 4.
That's Mitchell's first basket. And he got it off the left-hand drive into the middle. Leaky Black not playing his left hand to keep him out of the middle.
The reverse won't go for Bacot.
Boy, a quick move, but Lively bothered it. Lively beat him down the floor.
Yeah, he might have altered as many as he's blocked tonight. Much more of a factor, Derek Lively II, than he was in the first couple of months of the season.
Well, he's healthy now, and he's a really good rim runner and an excellent shot blocker.
Tough angle there for Roach, and it grazes the side of the backboard. Love baseline, floater, too strong.
Just off one side of the floor. You know, Carolina never reversed the ball and put pressure on Duke's defense.
Mitchell driving on Black. And it's down to the heels. Davis needs some help, and he finds Love.
Got the switch.
Davis step back over Filipowski. And it's Duke ball.
Derek Lively II has been an impact player in protecting the verbose play-by-play professionals. If you can get a word in edgewise, come on up.
Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, and the Game Day Gang, all with you here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The 260th meeting between Carolina and Duke, or 259th rather, meeting between Carolina and Duke. Carolina leading the all-time series 143-115.
I think Duke's got to look to Kyle Filipowski.
Well, Roach got caught in the air, and fortunate that he was able to kind of bounce it off Bacot out of bounds to retain possession as Puff Johnson comes into the game now for Pete Nance for the Heels.
And now Leaky Black is guarding Kyle Filipowski. And on the perimeter, that's a pretty good matchup for Black, but I think Filipowski can take him down into the post.
It'll be Mitchell over Johnson, and Bacot holds off Lively so that Davis can get the rebound.
Duke switching exchanges between guards. Now that puts Roach on Caleb Love.
Love the kick. Black's hit 1-3 here in the second half. Not this time. And it's Duke ball. Proctor ahead. Filipowski.
And yet another run out for Duke. After a defensive rebound, they are getting run out after run out. That's been the difference in the game.
Largest lead of the night for the Blue Devils. Bacot spins. Lively got him again. And then Bacot had to get rid of it as he was falling out of bounds. It'll be Duke ball.
Derek Lively II has been a presence around the rim, blocking and changing shots. But after this shot by Leaky Black, the rebound bounces out and a great pass ahead to the sprinting Kyle Filipowski. Wait, Duke's transition offense has been stellar.
Lively has not scored. He's only attempted one shot, but he's been about as impactful as anybody in the game with the 6 blocks. Davis with a burst of speed. Great look. Extra pass to the corner. Black for 3.
With the second 3, and we talked about that corner. But North Carolina with a little bit of a push, and the ball movement was excellent.
Second assist of the night for Caleb Love.
Duke starting to spread the floor, and even though Bacot is not coming out to guard Lively, I think they have to look to Filipowski, let him touch it.
Instead, it'll be Mitchell with an and-one opportunity.
Mark Mitchell shoots close to 40% from 3, and he is a long, athletic forward. That's a lefty. And this a drive to his right, and Puff Johnson just catching him with the body, and he finishes the play. But that's really good ball movement. The kick out after the penetration into the lane, and then finding a wide open Leaky Black in the corner.
And a sub coming in now for Jon Scheyer. Ryan Young will take the place of Lively, who gets another huge ovation as he makes his way to the bench.
And Ryan Young, an excellent offensive rebounder that just knows how to play. So you have to think that North Carolina is going to try to take advantage of the rim protection being on the bench and let Armando Bacot touch it and go to work.
Jay, the Tar Heels have just 2 made field goals in the second half. The 2 3-pointers from Leaky Black. Now you can add a 3 from Caleb Love.
Now, Caleb Love needs to be aggressive. And he was left open. That was a rhythm 3, and one that you want to see him take. It's the challenge threes after just one pass that put Carolina's transition defense in a problem. Boy, what a screen by Young.
Roach too strong. Here's Davis.
Give credit to Duke for getting back. It looked like Carolina might be able to take that a little bit quicker down the floor.
Davis the drive. Cut off by the help defense. Grandison.
Black had the 3 but hesitated.
Johnson no. Long rebound to Proctor. And he turns it over. Johnson. Love. Bacot will finish. Carolina back within 1.
And that's the first transition basket for North Carolina. Off the bad pass by Tyrese Proctor, they deflected it and took it the other way.
And timeout, Jon Scheyer and Duke.
This has usually been a staple of North Carolina's offensive attack.
Former Blue Devil, R.J. Barrett. That game comes your way 6 o'clock Eastern time. We showed you Cole Anthony, a member now of the Orlando Magic. So he's teammates with a couple of former Blue Devils. Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr. I would imagine there's some pretty interesting maybe side bets going on, Jay, between the 2 former Blue Devils and the 1 former Tar Heel.
There always is. Boy, Ryan Young set some good screens.
Proctor off the back of the iron, and the rebound to R.J. Davis, and Carolina can reclaim the lead. Boy, big battle between Bacot and Young down on the block. Love spins, hangs, and hits. Carolina on top.
He basically called for a clear out. But he scored that bucket in the paint. And he is so strong and athletic. The more he drives it, I think the better the result.
10 points, 4 assists, 1 turnover tonight for Love. Off the fingertips of Young, but we got a foul called on Bacot. And a timeout on the floor in a 1-point game, Jay, with Love having put the Heels back on top. For some of these freshmen on the Duke side, obviously the first time that they have played in this rivalry. But Derek Lively is playing well. Tyrese Proctor is playing well. To no one's surprise, we got a good one. Carolina 45, Duke 44, midway through the second half. Roach creates a little space. Lively secures the rebound. Grandison hits the 3.
Boy, not just a great rebound by Derek Lively II, but a next-level thought to kick it out to Grandison for that 3. He didn't have the immediate stick back, and looked out for the wide open three. That's really good basketball by Dereck Lively.
Off balance shot by Caleb Love. Gives it back to Duke.
The best time to shoot a three is after an offensive rebound. And Dereck Lively, after setting the screen, nobody there to box him out. And he grabs this rebound and immediately looks out to Grandison for that wide open three. And the analytics prove it. There's no better time than after an offensive rebound. Every Tar Heel was in the lane, thinking about taking it the other way, not thinking about playing more defense.
Blue Devils turn it back over on a travel. R.J. Davis trying to find some space. Tough one, and it goes, and it's all tied up at 47.
But R.J. Davis has gained. You mentioned his last two. He's been 1 of 10 from 3. But he had 26 points against NC State. He can put points up in a hurry in a variety of ways, and a good decision maker with the ball.
16 points per game, and the #1 free throw shooter in the ACC as well. Proctor, good defense by Puff Johnson.
They pick and pop out of this or roll R.J. Davis right down to the rim.
It'll have to be Roach. Wow, did he earn that one?
Well, what a tough shot by Jeremy Roach.
He's right about at his average right now. 12 tonight, 12.2 per game on the season. Love, no.
Every shot around the basket is contested.
Filipowski bowls his way in. Bacot takes it away.
Well, he had the advantage on Puff Johnson, but Bacot came over from the weak side.
Boy, Davis tries Lively again, and that is the 7th block of the night for Dereck Lively, the second.
Well, Davis had Bacot coming down the lane, but thought he could get the shot up over him. Leaky Black trying to pick up the foul. I thought it would be a drop-off, but Grandison did a nice job of coming over and getting in front of Bacot to take that pass away.
Step back, Davis. Tough shot, and a three to put the Heels back on top.
It was so difficult to guard off that ball screen because he can step back, he can turn the corner. And they took away the roll from Bacot, but R.J. Davis is starting to assert himself on the offensive end.
Well, Filipowski might have gotten away with steps. Finds Roach.
Just a little 5-4 ball screen to get Filipowski to his right hand. He just couldn't turn the corner. Bacot did a nice job with help defense and switching off. Boy, R.J. Davis, watch him come off this ball screen. And Roach trailing him. He just steps back and nails a difficult jumper. His form is so good.
And at the other end of the floor, Roach just with a crafty play kind of stopped and forced Davis to back into him and create the foul. And Lively with his first points of the night, his 39th field goal of the season, 31 of them have been dunks.
When Armando Bacot goes to block the shot, that leaves the offensive glass wide open for Lively. Nobody there to box him out.
Davis, not this time. Proctor comes out of the scrum.
And that's what you have to do. The guards have to get in and rebound. It can't just be the big guys on the defensive end.
Hand off to Proctor. A battle underneath, and Love comes out of it. But we have a foul call going against Armando Bacot. Just his second.
Well, Dereck Lively's activity level has been high. He and Bacot going after that block shot. Just a little bit of a push there. A lot of people call that rebounding. Boy, with all the contact in this game, big guys are going, really, on a rebound?
Roach now guarded by Puff Johnson after the switch. Crossover. It hangs on the rim and comes down to Leaky Black.
Boy, Leaky Black has done such a good job on the defensive glass.
That's his 8th rebound of the night. Lively almost forces a turnover. It'll be out of bounds to Carolina with 7:35 to go in a game where the lead keeps switching back and forth. In the first, that's a big game out west tonight.
St. Mary's has a top 5 defense going against a top 5 offense in the country against Gonzaga. Gonzaga averaged 86 points a game. And the question is, against St. Mary's, with the way they control tempo and the way they defend, can Gonzaga score over 70?
Freshman Aiden Mahaney, the leading scorer for the Gales. St. Mary's having a terrific year. Those two will meet a few weeks from now back in Spokane in the rematch. Davis from the corner, around and out, and a rebound down to Lively.
Really good action by North Carolina. That little fade screen to get a shooter open in the left corner, just didn't make it.
Filipowski, nice pass. Lively almost turned it over, but it bounces to Proctor. And a foul will send Filipowski to the free throw line.
Boy, loose ball. It looked like Caleb Love had an angle to that 50-50 ball to take it the other way, but Proctor got it. And that's one that when Hubert Davis and his staff watch the film, they'll say that's a ball that Caleb Love should have had. But Carolina makes 18 free throws a game. I mean, they barely got into the free throw line in this one.
2 for 3 on the night.
Usually they're wearing a hole in that nail at the free throw line. And they've barely been there.
Well, has this guy become a fan favorite in a hurry? And Kyle Filipowski, if you're doing the top 5 freshman, kind of a first-team All-America freshman team, pretty good chance this guy's on it.
Oh, he's on it. Yeah, Brandon Miller's leading the way from Alabama, but Kyle Filipowski is second.
Interesting stretch for the Blue Devils after this one tonight at Miami on ESPN Monday night, at Virginia next Saturday on ESPN as well. Tough stretch for the Blue Devils. Miami picking up a big win over Clemson earlier today.
Well, Duke doing a good job in negotiating these screens out front. That's a tough shot over a 7-footer.
Leaky Black down with a rebound off the miss from Love.
Right now with Armando Bacot out of the game, it's got to be R.J. Davis here.
Got a switch, driving on Filipowski. Whips a pass into the corner, and it's the third 3 of the second half for Leaky Black.
R.J. Davis got a switch, and he was going against Filipowski and just drove him into the lane. And because they helped off of Leaky Black, they wanted him to take that 3. If anybody's going to take it, they'd rather have Leaky Black take it. He's nailed 3 of them in this game.
Black with 13 points, 9 rebounds on the night. Shot clock at 4. Roach knows it, gets to the free throw line, and it nestles in to give Duke a 2-point lead.
A really patient use of the ball screen got R.J. Davis on his hip. That was a huge bucket after that Leaky Black 3.
Baseline Love. And the reverse as he slithers through a couple of defenders to tie it up.
Boy, how about that step through he made past Mark Mitchell to get to the other side of the basket and use some English to get the bucket. That was a terrific drive by Caleb Love.
Last 100 meetings, each team has won 50 of them, and they're all squared up with 5 minutes to go here in this one.
Little slice cut screen for the screener, well defended by North Carolina, and then an illegal screen off the pitch as Mark Mitchell went right into the body of R.J. Davis. With Caleb Love here, this is pretty good patience by North Carolina. He was able to refuse that screen, and Tyrese Proctor has to make him use it. And that opened up a lane to the basket. And here's the switch. Kyle Filipowski guarding Davis. Davis crosses over, and then Mark Mitchell has to help off of Leaky Black. And when he does, wide open shot for Leaky Black.
Love, deep one over Proctor, off the back of the iron, long rebound to Black. Johnson from the corner misses the 3.
Not the shot. Yeah, after getting the offensive rebound, North Carolina needed to reset that. That was not the shot they wanted.
Roach goes, and he's fouled.
Jeremy Roach has been terrific at driving angles. But he watched the feet of his defender, went under. R.J. Davis went under. He was able to turn the corner. And the difference in driving east-west and north-south. You drive north-south, you make the defense help, and you have an opportunity for a three-point play.
Let's go to Holly.
Well, yesterday to end practice, Jon Scheyer grabbed the guys, pulled them around in a circle, and as he's speaking, Jeremy Roach spoke up and said, listen, guys, you don't know what kind of physicality you're in for. When we played in this game last year, we weren't ready. Now you see they are. This is what Roach was telling his teammates they needed to bring, and he was right. His leadership has been standing out for Duke tonight on the floor.
Holly, thank you. And what a play at the changes. It's Duke by 2 here to Cameron over their rivals from Chapel Hill with 4:09 to go in regulation.
And one of the biggest differences in this basketball game has been the play of Dereck Lively II inside. He's got 8 block shots and 11 rebounds.
Nance behind the back, trying to back down Mitchell. Turnaround fadeaway is good, and Carolina ties it. First points of the night for Pete Nance.
Just a really good one-on-one move where he pivoted and fell away with that jumper.
Roach has it knocked away. Nance wide open. Misses the 3, and Lively down with his 12th rebound of the night.
That was a good opportunistic 3 in transition for North Carolina. Nance just wasn't able to knock it down. Carolina's been letting Jeremy Roach get to his right hand.
Grandison, that's a tough pass at the feet of Lively.
And the question is, what was he going to do with it when he caught it?
He gives it to Proctor. And just kind of a disjointed possession there for the Blue Devils. 3:04 to go. It'll be Carolina ball, but the ovation you hear is for the return of Kyle Filipowski.
That gives Duke another 7-footer to go along with Dereck Lively II. But you have to think that North Carolina wants to get a touch for Armando Bacot. He's got 14 points, 10 rebounds, but he hasn't touched the ball much lately.
Nance passes up the 3, dribbles it into traffic, but is fouled.
Just got a step on Filipowski, and Filipowski's got very good hands, reached in and knocked the ball away, but got the foul called on him. Wasn't in legal guarding position, had his elbow on the back, that arm bar on the back. That's where maybe the foul's called. I mean, you're not supposed to have an arm bar on the driver, period.
4th team foul on the Blue Devils. Now the Duke bench wanted a foul on Nance. Instead, it's a turnover. And Nance commits the foul. That'll be the 7th on Carolina, so Duke will be heading to the line for 1-1.
Duke has shot, up till now, 12 free throws in the game. Carolina only 3. I can't recall a Duke-Carolina game where the Tar Heels have been to the free throw line so seldom.
Filipowski, 1-1, 77% from the line on the season. And who's it off of? It is Carolina ball, ruled off of Lively. Jon Scheyer voices his disapproval. Can't look at that unless you're inside 2 minutes. Davis around Proctor. Proctor recovered and got a piece of it.
Looked like Lively was there to bother it as well.
Well, you use the term rim protection. Duke's got a lot of that this season, don't they?
Well, Lively is a game changer for Duke. And there is nothing going on around the basket for North Carolina because of the presence of Dereck Lively II.
Filipowski guarded by Bacot. Gets the shot off. Rebound Lively. He did it again.
Was that rebound number 13 for him?
It is.
What a game by Derek Lively II. In a game where Duke needed his presence.
Roach defended by Nance, goes by him, and Lively the follow. Timeout, Carolina. Derek Lively II. He has ever had for Duke in a game against Carolina. The program record for blocks against anybody is 10. Held by Sheldon Williams and Cherokee Parks. 14 rebounds and 8 blocks tonight for Derek Lively II. Let's see what the response is from the Tar Heels.
Cherokee Parks in attendance tonight. The Chief.
Davis to Love. One-on-one with Proctor.
Got the switch. Got Filipowski on him. Will he drive it or pull up?
Spins. Gets it back. Finds Black wide open in the corner. Boy, he's made 3 of them already here in the second half, but not this time as we go into the final minute.
Well, Duke choosing to protect the paint and recover late, if at all, to Leaky Black. And he's nailed 3 of them, but that one short.
Filipowski sizing up Nance. Drives on him. Can't get it to go, but he got it back.
Lively occupied Armando Bacot, and he couldn't get there.
And a timeout with 35.3.
At Buffalo Wild Wings, the deals don't stop. Buy one, get one half.
Does not have to foul here, but they have to have a good defensive possession and get a stop.
Grandison who inbounded for the Blue Devils. Proctor with the ball. Roach the drive. Left hand, and it's good.
Filipowski went to set a screen. He just ghosted out of it, and that opened up Jeremy Roach with that right-hand drive into the lane. Really good call out of the timeout by Jon Scheyer to essentially isolate Jeremy Roach.
A 4-point lead with 20.9 to go.
And there's still plenty of time for North Carolina. They don't have to take a 3 here. They're down 2 possessions, 61-57. But you still think attack the basket. If they kick it out for an open 3, that's one thing.
And the foul by Proctor. Duke had 2 fouls to give. They still have 1 more.
I think they want to wait a little bit longer. You don't need to foul that far away from the basket.
Let a couple more seconds go if you can. And Filipowski with a foul, so that's number 6 on the Blue Devils here in the second half. And now the bench all yelling now to the 5 guys on the court. That's it.
And because of where the foul was committed, now it's out of bounds on the baseline. And Duke wants to get everything going toward the short side of the floor, toward the ball side.
Bacot the kick. Nance for 3. The rebound down to Roach. And they can feel it now here at Cameron.
North Carolina couldn't ask for a better shot. The kick out from the post touch and a straight on 3 from Pete Nance. They couldn't have asked for anything better.
Already a 2-possession game as Roach steps to the line and adds to the lead.
Roach coming off a 21-point performance against Wake Forest and about to hit the 20-point mark again.
Got them both.
Now you have to have a 3.
Love. And a travel called on Proctor, but just 0.4 of a second left. And the Blue Devils are going to beat the Tar Heels, move ahead of them in the ACC standings, and pick up a very popular win here in this building.
And what a growth moment for a young basketball team.
The freshmen played well, didn't they? And obviously Jeremy Roach helped a ton as well. A big win for Jon Scheyer and the Blue Devils in their